cyberspace astronauts. Are you ready to be entertained with pointless jibber-jabber and senseless small talk? If so, then you have come to the right place. It's the Todd Cook Show, starring Todd Cook, and featuring music by local and national artists. Now, broadcasting from his garage, here is Todd Cook.
I am here. You are here. I am talking. You are listening. This is the Todd Cook Show. I am Todd Cook, and I'm going to work really hard on trying to get the timing on that introduction down so that I nail it every time. But that wasn't too bad. I've done worse, I am sure. Thank you for listening. This is the Todd Cook Show. I am recording live from my garage in Wichita, Kansas. And sorry, no big announcement. I told everybody last episode that I was going to have a big announcement. Actually, I think I said that I might have a big announcement this week. And if I did say might, then I think I'm okay, because the fact of the matter is there is not going to be a big announcement this week. But there is something in the works of the Todd Cook Show, but I'm not going to say anything more about it until it actually happens. So just hang with me. And by the way, this is episode 19 of the Todd Cook Show. And after the next week's episode, it will be 20 episodes of the Todd Cook Show. And I think I will refer to that as the first season of the Todd Cook Show. So next week is going to be the season finale of the Todd Cook Show. The first season of the Todd Cook Show will be come to an end. But don't worry, you won't have to wait for season 2 to start. The very following week, episode 1 of season 2 will begin. I'm going to tell you today about the trouble I have with my dog. Got a little trouble going on with my dog. I'm not sure how to correct it, and I'm going to tell you about that. I also want people to learn how to give better instructions, and I'm going to tell everybody what I mean by that in just a few short minutes from now. Also, I got music from Kill the Reflection. This is a band out of Oklahoma City. Came highly recommended once again through the internet. And so I'm going to play a song by Kill the Reflection coming up towards the end of this program. So you don't want to miss out. You want to make sure you listen from now all the way until the very end of this program. A half-hour show. Should be a lot of fun. But first, I want to start with something a little bit different. I want to talk to you about how some people seem to make news where there is no news. And I'm talking about different radio programs, different talk shows, even television news programs that are supposed to be news, but sometimes they come up with some weird story and they throw it into the news as if it is news, when in reality it's not news. And and it goes beyond that too. And let me explain. A while back, a lot of you out there probably heard the story about this newscaster who, the very first time he was on air, the very first words out of his mouth were cuss words. And he ended up getting fired. If you cut to the end of the chase, he ended up getting fired. But he didn't know his mic was on or whatever, did not know the cameras were rolling. And the very first 2 words out of his mouth on television and his very first job were cuss words, and he ended up getting fired. Now, if I was a news producer or a producer of a radio talk show or a podcast, or a host of a radio show or a podcast, and somebody showed this little event to me, I would have looked at it, laughed a little bit, and then went on to try to find something else to talk about. But these people don't seem to do that. They think that's newsworthy. And this guy ended up on the Today Show, ended up on David Letterman, and all he did was the mics were on, he didn't know they were on, and he said some cuss words. And therefore, he got 15 minutes of fame. But the real problem I have with this is the majority of people who talk about this usually follow it up by saying, I can't believe everybody is talking about this guy. I can't believe he's getting his 15 minutes of fame. And then they continue to give him 15 minutes of fame, and even more than that, by talking about what he did on their show. They will talk about it for a half hour sometimes, and then stop and literally say, this guy just wants attention. All he wants to do is be on the news, and then go back to keeping him on the news. And I can't even really call it hypocrisy, because I think if it was hypocrisy, there has to be some level of consciousness about it. I don't think I think these people are just idiots and they don't realize what they're doing. And this is something that radio and podcasts and even some television shows have suffered from for years. This little problem of complaining that a certain piece of news item is not really newsworthy, but then going ahead and making it newsworthy. If you don't want to hear any more about this guy, if you don't think it's a good news story, if you don't want him to have his 15 minutes of fame, then stop talking about him. For crying out loud. This has gone on for years. I listen to a lot of podcasts. It's kind of a hobby of mine. I guess if I host a podcast, it's good chances are that I also listen to a lot of podcasts, and I do. I listen to a lot of podcasts. And I kid you not, I heard the story about this guy on no less than 10 different podcasts. And some of them, not only did they talk about it the first day after it happened, but they talked about it again the second day. So he did what he did on the air, and then that day they come back and talk about it and laugh about it and saying they can't believe that this is being talked about by so many people, when in reality, if they wouldn't talk about it, it wouldn't be being talked about by so many people. And then the next day, the guy is still enjoying his 15 minutes of fame, and he's on Letterman, he's on the Today Show, and it's all because of these people driving it. So I just don't get it. I'm going to take a short break here in just a few moments, and I got songs or music by Kill the Reflection coming up, so you don't want to miss that. And I want to tell you about my dog and about the people giving bad instructions. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Todd Cook Show. I will be right back. Hi, Todd Cook here. Do you like going out on Friday or Saturday nights for some supper and live music, but you're not into the bar scene? Because let's face it, when the alcohol starts to flow, those places can get a little loud and a bit rowdy. Sometimes to the point that it becomes difficult for you to enjoy your food or the music. Do you wish that there was a place that had good food, good music, but a less distracting atmosphere? A place that you can enjoy the food and the music, but still get home at a decent hour? Well, that place does exist, and it's right here in Wichita on the corner of Douglas and Hillside, or 110 South Hillside to be exact. It's called The Kiln. They have live music every Friday and Saturday night starting at 7 p.m. and ending at 9. The Kiln is a Christian-ran, non-alcoholic establishment that operates solely on donations. And they always have great food and great entertainment. And one of the best parts, you don't need a babysitter. You can bring the kids with you. So for more information, contact Mike through the Facebook page. The Kiln, K-I-L-N, and be sure to check it out yourself this Friday or Saturday night. 110 South Hillside, corner of Douglas and Hillside in Wichita. The Kiln, where they are always glad you came. Okay, I am back. The Todd Cook Show at gmail.com is my email address. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do that there, or go to Facebook and look up the Todd Cook Show on Facebook as well. One of the things I am trying to work on here on the Todd Cook Show is to get a little better at my button pushing, as I like to call it so often, and running the soundboard here that I have, and the mixing board and all that good stuff to make everything sound a little smoother. And so right now I'm going to actually concentrate. I just faded out that music, and I'm going to concentrate to make sure that I get this done correctly by hitting this button right here that you guys have no idea whether or not I hit it correctly or not, but apparently I did, because I can see visually that music is no longer playing. And so now I can turn my soundboard back up. See, I'm going to talk you through this portion, or this behind the scenes, if you will, of the Todd Cook Show. Not for your benefit, but for mine. It kind of helps a little bit to talk it through a little bit, make sure that everything runs smoothly here, and get that turned back up so the next commercial that comes up will be ready to go. All right, I already gave you my email address. I got music from Kill the Reflection coming up. I'm going to talk to you about my dog, but first I'm going to tell you about this problem I have with people not giving good instructions. Over my birthday, I received a a gift from my wife, a weed eater. Now, some people might think that's not a very good weed eater, or a weed eater is not a good gift. You know, it's work. You got to go outside and you got to work. But I actually enjoy being outside when the weather's nice, especially, and I like trying to keep my yard looking good. So, and I've been needing one for a long time. I was using one that had an extension cord and had all kinds of problems with it. We live on a corner lot, and so we got a curb to go all the way around, and I'd use that weed eater to go around the curb there, and I'd have to stop every 10 feet to get new wire out because the wire was really thin on that, and that concrete would just eat it up. But anyway, the weed eater came with, and actually weed eater is a name brand, so I shouldn't even call it a weed eater, maybe a weed whacker. I don't know what the technical term is, but it came with instructions, and it was actually pretty easy to assemble. But it got me thinking that how many times, especially with kids, where you get toys that are sent to you and they're in a box, or you buy a toy at Walmart and it's in a box and you got to assemble it. And sometimes those instructions are very difficult to follow. And I'm not one of those guys who doesn't want to follow instructions. I like following instructions. I just wish the instructions were a little more simple to follow. And I think half the problem is that the people that write these instructions are very knowledgeable about assembly things and using tools and things like that. And so when they write these instructions, they use terms that to them seem like everyday use. They understand it and they write it, but they don't understand that people like me and other people were clueless. And I actually think that I might get a new job here shortly. I'm going to become an instruction manual writer. And the reason I think I'd be good at it is because I'm clueless. And most of the people that are assembling it are clueless. Therefore, I could use the right words that would make sense to them. And the people that aren't clueless still would not be confused by it. They might think, well, you didn't call that by the right name. You didn't call this bolt by the right name, or this part by the right name, or whatever. But they're not going to have any problem following along. And then the people that are clueless like me, piece of cake. But as a lot of times it's the terminologies that they use on these instruction things that make things tougher. And so here's the things that I would do differently. Like I would use certain words, but not others. Like I would not say wing nut. I would use the phrase, the bolt that has a flat side so you can tighten them with your fingers. Now that's a little bit longer, but who wouldn't understand what that means? You might not know what a wing nut is. Here in Wichita, there's a baseball team, or at least it used to be. They were called the Wing Nuts. I think they still are, the Wichita Wing Nuts. So somebody sees Wing Nut here in Wichita might think, I got to get a baseball player out here to help me put this together? I don't understand. So I wouldn't say wing nut. I'd say the bolt that has the flat sides that help you be able to tighten it with your fingers. See? Another thing, and this is all from the instructions that were on my weed whacker. I would not say the shaft grip. I wouldn't use that phrase. I would say the place where you hold it with your hand that has a trigger on it. See how much easier that would be? And forget the pictures that are bad. I don't know if there's anything to do about pictures, but I've had so many things that I put together and the pictures were just horrible. They did not look anything like the parts that I was trying to assemble. But we got to change the words at the very least. Another thing, I would not say washer. You hear washer, you think a washer and dryer. That's what you put your wet clothes in to dry them. Or that's what the guy in the back of the kitchen by the sink, he's called the washer. Or the little machine that I use at work is actually called a washer. Or it can be, or a scrubber. I don't know. But so I would not say washer. I say the little metal flat donut. Now, wouldn't that make sense? Nobody be confused by that. Look for something that's small and made out of metal and looks like a flat donut. Piece of cake. I would not say coupler. Who knows what a coupler is? I would think coupler, maybe that means getting two people together. Somebody who helps two people get together to become a couple. They're a coupler. Who knows what a coupler is? I wouldn't say coupler. I'd say the place where you put the two pieces together. See? Makes sense. You got the one part that's a little bigger than the other, and so the smaller part fits inside the big part. You don't have to say coupler. Say the big part that the little part fits into. Piece of cake. I would not say shaft housing. That sounds kind of strange. Shaft housing. I'd say the two long stick parts that go together. Don't need to say shaft housing. That's confusing. Two long stick parts that go together makes perfect sense. And then another situation where I've run into the same problem is and I'm sure everybody out there has as well, because this is one of the most common problems that we have in modern day society, and that is your computer breaking down or something going wrong with your computer, or maybe the software on your computer, maybe the web browser. Something's going wrong. It's not working the way you want it to. It doesn't look right, and you need to have it fixed. And so what do? One of the things I've done many times is do a little Google search on how to fix this problem. And like a good example of that is like with Facebook. Like, how can I change this setting on my Facebook? Or how can I change that setting on Facebook? How can I make this look like that? Or how can I make it look a different way? That's a very common problem that we have. And I remember going on the Google and saying, how can I change the format, whatever, of Facebook? And it takes you right to all these different options and different forums that you can go into. And it's just amazing to me how often this happens right here. You look at the instructions, and it says you click on like options. It'll say go up to the top right-hand corner of your screen where it says account, click on account, and then click on options, and then change this to that, and you're all done. And they always make it sound like it's going to be really easy. Up right-hand corner, click on account. I go up to the right-hand corner, and this, by the way, I'm just using an example. I don't know what it says up there or not, but I know something like this has happened to me before. Whatever they say to click on up in the top right-hand corner, it's not there. It's not there. There is no account on the top right-hand corner of my screen. And so, well, this is all messed up. And I go and I thought, well, maybe this person doesn't know what they're talking about, or maybe they misunderstood the question. And so then you find another one that says, no, you go to the top left-hand corner and you click on this, and it'll say that, and then you click on that. And sometimes you'll go like 2 or 3 steps. There's always at some point where what they say is going to be there on the screen is not there. And how frustrating is that? Or something with your web browser where you go to the file and you click on this and that, and it just make it sound so easy. But not only is it hard to follow, but you can't even follow it because what they are saying to click on is not even there to click on. Oops, sorry, just bumped my microphone there a little bit. Wobbled it around. It's fine. You're okay, microphone? Yeah, he's fine. And then another thing I've done quite frequently is I'll go to YouTube and type in the question there, whatever I'm trying to do there. It pops up a video where you can visually see what they're clicking on. I thought, well, maybe I'm not clicking in the right area. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong part of my screen. Same thing, they'll show a video of them clicking on certain things. And you're like, all right, this is great. And you go to try to follow along, and what you see on your screen is nothing like what they see on their screen. You see it right there in the video. It looks like it should be easy. And then you look at your screen, and it doesn't look anything like their screen. It's like these people don't understand that people have their Facebook or whatever website they're looking at. Their computer can be formatted, it can be set up differently. So there needs to be a universal way for people to explain things to you that will work on any computer whatsoever. It will not matter. But it never seems to work for me like it does for so many other people. And another thing, too, that the computers have nowadays, and maybe you don't know about this, but they have a setting on there where you're supposed to be able to go back and reset your computer back to a previous date. So if you get something on your computer that is causing problems, it's not working correctly, and you wish it was never on there to start with, or this or that has been moved around someplace you can't find it now, and you want to be able to find it, and you knew you could find it 2 weeks ago, it was there, but now it's not. They have a setting where you're supposed to be able to go there and reset your computer back to a previous date, to where everything on your computer will go back to how it was, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I have done this 100 times. Not once has it ever fixed my problem. So I think it's just this little thing they put in there just to tease people and try to make them think that they'll be able to fix something when in reality they're not going to be able to fix it. All right, it's time to play that song now. This song comes to me recommended, like I said, off of the somebody sent me an email about this band. They are out of Oklahoma City, which is not too far here from Wichita. I think it's about a 4-hour drive down there. The band is called Kill the Reflection, and this song is called No Love at All. So Kill the Reflection, No Love at All on the Todd Cook Show. Kill the Reflection with No Love at All here on the Todd Cook Show. You can go to killthereflection.com and find out more about that band and listen to more of their songs and be directed on how to buy their songs there as well. Kill the Reflection with No Love at All. That song was brought to you by, heck, I always say that the song is brought to you by, but I think in this case it's safe to say that this entire show is brought to you by B&B Towing. B&B Towing, 316-214-4021. This is a towing company out of Mulvane, Kansas. So if you do not live in the Wichita area, Mulvane, by the way, is a small town just south of Wichita. If you do not live in the Mulvane, Wichita area, this is not for you. But for anybody who does live in the Mulvane or Wichita area, call Cheyenne Brown. He's the owner and operator of B&B Towing. If you need a tow, if you need a jump start, if you need a winch out, if you've been locked out of your vehicle, if you need fuel delivery, If you want somebody to come and buy that old clunker that's sitting in your driveway and doing no good for you whatsoever, call Cheyenne Brown. He is a 20-year veteran of the United States Air Force. They take cash or credit. 316-214-4021. He just got done fixing my vehicle just yesterday, I believe. Yes, it was yesterday. He fixed my vehicle for me, did a great job. I highly recommend him. Call him. Any problem you have whatsoever, call him. Cheyenne Brown, B&B Towing, 316-214-4021. We'll take another short break here. When I come back, talk about my dog. You're listening to The Todd Cook Show.
Hi, everybody. Do you live in the Wichita area? Are you looking for a great place for lunch or dinner? Do you love live acoustic music but don't know where to go? Try the Artichoke Sandwich Bar. It is located on the corner of Broadway and Murdoch in Wichita, and it is a fantastic place to eat and listen to live music. It is located on the corner of Broadway and Murdoch in Wichita, and what goes better with a sandwich than a cold beer? So look up the Artichoke Bar on Facebook today to find out when they are opened and what musical artist is performing next. They just celebrated their 30th year in business, so you know they're doing something right. The Artichoke Sandwich Bar, 811 North Broadway, Wichita, Kansas, where everything is okie dokie artichoke.
It is time for the final segment of episode 19 of the Todd Cook Show. The Todd Cook Show at gmail.com is the best way to get in touch with me, or you can go to my Facebook account as well. Just look for the Todd Cook Show on Facebook, and you can find me there. I'm going to finish this last segment here talking about my dog. Now, I've had my dog in the studio once before, and he didn't do too well. I was a little upset by that. I thought he'd do a little better than he did, and some of you out there might remember what had happened. I had him in here. I was hoping I'd do an interview with him, and instead, every time I stuck the microphone in front of his face, all he would do is snore. So it wasn't that good. But I'll tell you a little bit more about him. I've been having a little problem with him. He's still the best dog I've ever had, but this is a problem that because we're having a new baby come, we'll be here. I know it's a little while. It'll be this fall sometime, late summer or fall. But to me, feels like it's right around the corner. So I like almost saying that any day now it's just going to happen. But it'll definitely be this summer, late summer or early fall. But because of this little problem, I got a little concern here with the baby coming, and that problem is this: this dog needs too much attention. I've never seen a dog who just wants to be petted or wants people to pay attention to him 24/7. And this is a dog that if he starts wandering away, going too far in one direction that he's not supposed to, you call him. You say, "Hey, Dozer." He'll put his tail between his legs, put his head down, and come right back. We have no problem with him running off. Just moments ago, we were out in the front. My wife went and got groceries. Had the door wide open, going out to get the sacks of groceries and bringing them in one at a time. The door was open for a good 5 minutes there. He stood there on the threshold but never crossed it. We have no problem with that. The problem is when you have him on your lap or at your feet and you don't need him there, it's trying to get him to go away. This dog, you bend down to try to tie your shoes, his head's right there. You bend down to try to look for something underneath the couch, his head's right there. I bend down to try to play with my boys on the floor. He's right there. He seems to think that anytime you go down to his level, to him, that means it's an open invitation for him to to come and, put his nose literally right up in your face. And he's really jealous. So we're a little worried, that if we have the baby in the car seat or the carrier, we bring him inside, set the baby down on the floor, and then we go to try to get the baby out, and the dog will come over there and stick his head in there and cause some kind of corruption or some kind of problem where I don't know what might happen. One thing I do know though is that I hope when this baby comes, I hope it's not allergic to a doggy drool or hair, because this dog's got plenty of both. You've heard of tar and feathering, well, this dog can drool and hair you. All right. I think that's the end of this episode of the Todd Cook Show. So I will start the closing music right now. I was going to try to get right at 30 minutes, and I went over by, 30 seconds over now, so I'll probably be close to a minute over before I'm done here. And by the way, the little contest between Wichita and San Diego, still not going well for Wichita. And I'll explain that. If you didn't hear last week's show, go back and listen to that, and you'll understand what I mean by that. But right now, San Diego's at 28 days, and Wichita is at 12 days. So San Diego has doubled up the nice day in the nice day department over Wichita. All right, this is the Todd Cook Show. Episode 19 is in the bag. Listen next week for episode 20, which will be the final episode of the, quote, season of the Todd Cook Show. I'm Todd Cook. Thanks for listening. Come back next week, and I'll talk. You listen.